So your new book, you say that no one is safe, and like I said, you talk about situations that we've seen on Vanderpump Rules, but you dive a little deeper and give us some details that maybe because like when you're watching it on a reality show, it's obviously an edited version, so they don't include everything, and we don't get your inner monologue
Of
throughout the
course.
entire scenario. So what
Yeah, and there are other cast members. They have a story to tell. I get it, but this was my opportunity to really tell you guys like my POV.
do you think anybody from the cast might be upset once the book comes out?
I mean, I don't think I've sort of prepared Tom Sandoval, and he gets it. We've kind of drilled that, nail into the wall, like as far as all of my stuff with him, and he knows he's in the book a lot. Ariana is aware she's in the book a lot. Um, Jack, you never know with Jack. He might not love that chapter about what happened, but it was my truth, and I'm not trashing anyone. I'm just being very honest. And at the same time, like, there are no names in this book, and that's not to protect the innocent because no one is innocent, but because there are no names, if any of the guys in this book want to come out and stake that claim that that's their chapter, that's on them. Because if I were them, I would not admit that.
So, what do you think? You obviously get very vulnerable in the book. Do you think that people will get to really see a different side of you that we don't see as the quote unquote crazy Kristen from Vanderpump?
Yeah, I really hope so, because this is absolutely the most vulnerable thing I've ever done, including being on Vanderpump Rules. And I've bled out for that show. I've screamed and cried and laughed and fallen on my face and had breakups and makeups, but this book is still by far the most vulnerable thing I've ever done.
What would you say was the hardest part or the hardest chapter for you to write going through it? Because you really do get personal.
Yeah, there are, I think three really like maybe heavier chapters in the book. The Jack chapter was very difficult, which, I say that right away when you start reading that chapter, that this was really hard because I had harbored so much guilt for so many years that I wasn't allowed to have these feelings or feel anything other than, apologetic and sorrow for the people that I hurt. But I also had to realize, like, I'm a human too, and I'm allowed to have my opinions and my feelings, even if they weren't necessarily aired on Vanderpump Rules or maybe said in the press around that time. But it's been so many years now. I just felt like it's part of my experience of writing this book. If I wasn't going to be very open and honest with the reader on everything, then there was no point in doing it.
Right.
So that's kind of where I had to go with it. And like I said, there are two other much heavier chapters that were also really difficult to unpack, that took me a little bit longer to sit down and like dig really deep into like how I felt, and going back to those darker places isn't the most fun. But again, if I weren't completely honest with the reader about every moment of my relationship history, then I would be a liar.